Defending devils. Who else but Satan's own friends would actually lie to protect his honor? Well, that is exactly what Frances Swaggart and her son Donnie did in October of 2012. During their show, they defended the wicked use of hand signals whose sole purpose is to honor Satan. The Swaggarts had been obviously receiving many complaints about their song leader Robin Hurd's blatant and frequent use of satanic hand signs during their televised worship services. These hand signals have nothing at all to do with music, and any good professional musician would tell you that. Mrs. Swaggart and her son attempted once again to sway their audience that day, as they gave numerous lies and self-contradicting reasons for allowing this abominable practice. Hear those phony excuses now for yourself.
But I'm going to try to deviate from the norm today and try to answer some questions that we usually do not deal with on this program. And I want to read this one. Said, I watch your program, Frances, faithfully, and I have even bought several of your books and Bibles and gave many of them away. Now, I am writing because I saw on the internet that Robin Hurd and others were given satanic signs and then I saw some other pictures that alarmed me. So what is your response to this? First of all, let me say this. Robin, none of the singers up there are giving satanic signals. They're simply turning around to the other musicians, and sometimes they're giving the chord. They'll do something like this to go to C, because we do have, our singers do rehearse their specials, but if you know my husband, he'll sing many songs that they're not. And so they'll give each other signals what key to go to or what verse they're going to, and that's what they're doing. And all of this foolishness and garbage that's out there on the internet, we got a lot of wannabes that are trying to do everything they can to become important by picking at other ministries and trying to point out things that are absolute lies. Robin, none of our singers, none of our musicians, my husband included, because I see him sometimes from the piano, he'll show a musician a certain key he's going to next, or when the altar service begins, he'll give them a sign with his hand to go to that key so that when he starts singing, he'll be in the right chord.
Mrs. Swaggart is extremely confused while she is trying to pretend to know that she knows what she's talking about. Her husband uses the Nashville numbering system. That system gives a way for musicians to play with the right chord, not in the same key. Those numbers given to each other by music professionals for the purpose of playing the same chord are signaled in the following way: 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Mr. Swaggart explained these simple signs during one of his shows just a few months earlier.
It represents a chord. It represents the 1 chord. That represents the 2 chord, the 5 chord.
Mr. Swaggart happens to be the only musician in his band that is allowed to determine the chords on the spot like that. Swaggart, therefore, is the only one who gives these signs to the band for chords. The other musicians on his stage can choose the next verse they want to go to when they are leading. And every other singer but Robin Hurd uses those same hand signals for numbers when they do. And by the way, as far as choosing the key goes, only Mr. Swaggart gets to do that as well. And he uses letters to describe the key he wants, and he always calls those letters out when he does. But going back to Jimmy's brief lesson that morning, his intentions before he ministered at the piano were not entirely innocent.
It represents a chord. It represents the 1 chord. That represents the 2 chord, the 5 chord. That's not signs of the devil.
Yes, you are correct, Mr. Swaggart. Those aren't satanic hand signs. But these signs used by your primary worship leader, Robin Hurd, definitely are signs of the devil, and you know it.
He's not good just once in a while.
not part of the Nashville numbering system, and neither are they part of any musical system, Mr. Swaggart. And you know that too. So why did you leave them out in your explanation, Mr. Swaggart? And why do you condone them when they mean nothing in music, but mean a whole lot to Satan?
So stop trying to make something out of nothing. We're going to always have these people out there. They don't have anything else better to do than to get on the internet and write everything possible that they possibly can write against somebody else. But notice, they don't tell you much about themselves, if anything. They don't believe in all of that garbage, and I'm really tired of getting emails about these singers giving satanic hand signals.
What they're not talking about that, Mother. They're talking about this. That's what they're talking about. And what it is, when they're up there singing, whoever's leading, you'll see them sometimes do this. Well, that means drums and bass only. That's what it means. All other instruments.
I said hand signals.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's this. This is what they're all talking about.
Well, I can't help it.
And let me just explain, okay? And also, sometimes they want to go to the second verse. They don't do this because sometimes with the hand is turned, they only see one finger. It's just like in baseball when there's two outs. They don't do this. They do this. Because somebody may not be able to see the second finger if the hand is turned sideways. So look at baseball. So are all baseball players, when they signal two outs and they do that, are they giving the satanic sign? No, it's two.
Well, and a lot of times the singer will be doing a repeat of the song, and they'll show that they're going to the second verse. Right. So the musicians and other singers will know what to start out on. Quit making something out of
this
nothing.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended.
Quit making something out of nothing, of nothing, of nothing.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended.
Of nothing.
You know what I got a kick out of? You remember last year, it's just you and I on the program one day, and somebody said Johnny Lee Clary was given a satanic sign in the picture, and it was hook 'em horns. I'm a Texas Longhorn fan, and I had my Texas Longhorn gear, and I was going, hook 'em horns.
This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign. Two fingers extended.
Well, that's just utter foolishness. You should have better things to do than on these little wannabes out there that think they really know something and don't know anything.
Would you like me to show them how the sign of the curse works? Sign completely different. This is the sign of the horns, a curse sign, the two fingers extended. This way, spread apart for sort of shotgun blast.
Francis, this is not the same as this or that. Your lies are getting worse, and you don't have a clue about that which you speak. And Donnie, you would actually advise a believer to use this, a well-known satanic hand signal, instead of that, simply because it shows up better than that? What? And you also say the same satanic hand sign is used two separate ways at the same time at the same gig? Really? You are joking, right? And Donnie, you are telling us that Robin Hood uses the horns to say drums and bass only.
That means drums and bass only.
Even though your father is the only one who is authorized to give that instruction on stage. Neither Robin Hood nor any of the singers ever give instrumental instructions to the band, and I believe you know that, Donnie Swaggart. All these lies to protect something that is such an abomination to the Lord. Shame on you, Donnie Swaggart. There is no way that someone who says those things can know, leave alone love, or truly serve the true Jesus of the Bible. Your loyalties to your LSU sports team idols run a whole lot deeper than that, Donnie. Sheep, beware. Oh, and as for those pictures referred to in the email Mrs. Swaggart read, Well, I guess she's saving those for another show. But here's a sneak preview, just in case you don't want to wait that long.
Why don't you come to these waters? There is a vast supply. Well, there is a river that never shall run dry.
Taking the message of the cross to the world.
Abstain from all appearance of evil.
And
Let me take it a step further. You cannot condone nor support nor attend that ministry. Do you agree with that or not?
Absolutely.